Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dynamic Forms studio. Today we're going to continue painting Ultraman. I wanted to show real quick how it's coming along as far as the red application. It looks pretty solid. I'm very happy with the results and it's almost done. A few more details and this piece will be ready. I thought I should do a live video and then later I will post this video to the YouTube channel as well, so you can double check there. What I'm thinking about painting right now will be the helmet, the eyes here on the helmet. I don't know if you're very familiar with Ultraman, but normally he has like two little black dots under the eye, and I'm not sure I'm doing that here because I am thinking he kind of looks like he's cross-eyed a little bit, and I did a little research and apparently those two little holes were made so the actor could see through the mask on the TV show. So it was like two little holes right here because then his eyes could see outside. So I don't know if I'm gonna paint that or not, but I'm thinking I will. Another thing that I noticed on old versions of the character or even like new versions, the eye is kind of like this bee. How do we say, like the bee cone shape, like it looks like a beehive, like kind of cone shape. So I don't know if I'll do. I mean, mine is just like straight flat, and I didn't really love that, but I don't think I'm gonna paint it like that either. So I'm just gonna do a flat paint on it with a few effects that I'm hoping to achieve, and we'll see what happens. You're gonna paint it with me, and I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, but we'll do it together. Cool. I'm using again, this is the paint that I'm using, cell vinyl paint. So I'm gonna do yellow, brown, and white, and we're gonna play with these colors and see how we can make it look good. Okay, let's just put this here for a moment. I gotta shake them all because they're not very they're kind of hard on the tube right now, so I'm gonna shake it. I don't think I've ever used this yellow, have I? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe yes. So I applied the red and the silver on the figure, and I'm pretty happy with it. There are a few more spots that I need to come back with the red and the yellow, but for the most part, it is ready. The eyes shouldn't take too long because it's such a small area, but the alert, the light alert, shouldn't take long either. I have a different silver, like a darker metal, which I think I'll go around here, and then the light alert that he has on his chest, it's basically when he's losing energy and about to die or to stop working, Ultraman's light goes red. But when he's fully charged, it's blue. And my son was asking, like, what is this? And I told him, like, well, it's his alert light. And I explained to him, I said, like, shouldn't it be green? You know, because of every device today, when it's fully charged is green, and when it's not, it's red. Anyway, so I thought that was kind of cute. I kind of thought about it. Yeah, you're right. It should be green. But I'll try to be a little bit more loyal to the real design, which is blue. So we're gonna try to put a light glass kind of effect on the chest as well. So we're gonna try to do that. Maybe we'll do the eyes here, and then the next video we'll do the light. Okay. I hope the camera is in a good angle. I'm just trying to put it like on top of my desk. That way you guys can have a closer look of what I'm doing. Let me try to fix it a little bit more just to be right on top of what I'm doing. Bring it a little closer. Sorry for the camera shaking and all. There we go. So I hope this is a good angle, and I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here on the camera. Sorry for the camera shaking and all. And then I'll do another close up later with the camera straight on. All right. I have no idea if this video is upside down, sideways, or long ways. I hope it's working on your phone just as much as it's working on mine. It looks like it's on landscape. What do we call landscape orientation? And that's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see. Okay, let's start with the yellow. This is like a very bright yellow. Have a little bit of water here, and let's see how this is going to go. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little yellow here on my palette. Don't need much, like just a few drops will do the trick. Let me clean the tip here real quick. All right. Instead of adding water, oh, I forgot to mention, I also have this orange. I don't have orange for the cell vinyl paint, so I'm just gonna use this right here, this brand Master's Touch, which is fine. The only thing that I don't like about this acrylic paint is that it has a gloss finish to it, very shiny finish to it. So after you apply your paint, it's very shiny. But that's also not a problem, because you can always use something like this. Just a moment. Okay, you can always use something like this, a lacquer, to doll it up, and that's what I'm gonna use later. So this is the dull coat, so we're gonna use it. And even if your paint is shiny and glossy, you can fix that later by spraying it with a sealing like the lacquer. All right, so I put a little bit of the yellow paint down, and now I'm gonna use, instead of using water, I'm actually gonna thin it down with like this flow medium, which is just a flow enhancer. I'll do like just one drop, 1 or 2 drops, 1, 2, 3 drops, fine. You don't need much. Now let's find a nice brush to work with. I'm gonna try to use a new brush if possible. Don't know if I have a new brush, but I'll try. Yeah, I found this one. I'm gonna try this one right here. See how it behaves. I have a few brushes here. I think I said it on a previous video. It doesn't really matter if your brush is cheap or expensive. In my opinion, just like buy some. I will go with cheap, that way you can keep buying new. So my brushes are nothing special, just so you guys know. Alright, so I put down some yellow here, some flow enhancer. It's very thick actually. I think I used too much. So we'll see. If it's too thick, it will build up when I'm applying, and then it will make it look, then you will be able to see brush marks, which is not what we're looking for. You want very thin, almost almost like a glaze, honestly. That way it doesn't build up. And see, it's a little thicker than I wanted. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna try to do this filming and talking to you guys at the same time, so try to be very careful here, because I don't want to go outside the lines at this point. I hope the lighting is good for everybody. I have another lamp here. Let me bring it closer so it doesn't create shadows. There we go. Just gonna be careful. Yeah, it's a little too thick. Let me get a little water just on the tip of my brush. That's good. And then just gently move around the eye. Again, this shouldn't take long. I hope this video is like a short one. Oops. Okay, that's it. For one side here, I think I'm good. I just need to get a little bit better here. That's good. Okay. Because my yellow is a little thick, I'm going to add a little water. It's a little too thick. Again, we don't want to, you know, have the brush, you know, you don't want to have like brush marks on your, it looks like it's thinner now. Probably going to be a little more faded than the other side, but that's okay. Yeah, definitely more watery, see? But still okay. Okay. I was wondering if I should paint both sculptures at the same time, because maybe I'll do that. The other one I'm still working on the red. I need to do a few more coats. This one is pretty much done. All we're missing is a few touch-ups here and there. That's it. Okay, that's our first coat. I'm gonna add a little more water to my mix here. If you want, you can use a hair dryer and kind of go from far on medium heat and point it at your sculpture to dry the paint a little faster. I'm not gonna do that, but it's an option. So because I'm not gonna I'm not gonna use a hair dryer to dry the paint right now, I'm gonna do both. That way, while this one is drying, I can do the same thing on the other sculpture. So we get both done at the same time. I'm gonna add 2 more drops of the flow enhancer here. Should be good. Cool. All right, let's switch now. I'm gonna read the questions or comments later if that's okay. The camera at this point is pointing kind of in an awkward position. It's hard for me to read the questions and paint and respond at the same time, but I can definitely respond later if that's okay. All right, let's do this guy here as well. Again, this one I still have to work on the red. Maybe you can tell in the camera how faded it is behind his mask. It's not done yet. It needs at least another 2 or 3 coats to be solid and finished. The good thing about thinning out your paint like this, you won't build it up and it will look again as if it was sprayed. So it gives us a very nice fine finish. That's it here. Done. Let's do the other side. Okay. Don't load your brush too much because you don't want it to run, the paint to run through your sculpture, and then you have to clean everything up. If that happens, if the paint starts running through your sculpture, just have a paper towel or an extra brush around with clean water. Just dip it in the water and then quickly clean and wipe with like a Q-tip or a paper towel. Okay, so don't need to freak out, I guess, if that for whatever reason happens. It's not a problem. You can always fix it real quick. This is a very bright yellow, but this is not going to be the final yellow, guys. It's just, you know, the first coat to give some body to the lenses here. Okay. All right. Sometimes the paint does not stick to the sculpture, and it's because I previously touched it with bare hands, and then it transfers the oil from your hands to the sculpture. Okay, now it should be okay. All right, let's do the same thing again. Let this guy here sit there for a few minutes. Oops. Let this guy dry here. All right, let's switch again. See, this one is already dry, so that's good. Let me add a little bit more water. For whatever reason, it's still a little thick. Again, we don't want the brush marks to be on your figure, because then it just looks tacky, I guess. So thin it all up, almost to a glaze. Not too thin, but not too thick. A little bit thicker than water, if that's a consistency that makes sense. Okay. Perfect. No need for masking. If you are patient and if you take your time, the paint won't run and you're not going to ruin anything, and you do not need to mask your piece. Just be patient and run your brush slowly. There you go. This one is good. Let it dry. Let's go to the other side. See, like one side shiny, the other side like dull. So the vinyl paint dries very, very flat, so there's no shine to it, no gloss, which is what I want. Sometimes if it's too glossy, it makes things look cheap, in my opinion, but it's all preference, right? Okay. It's starting to cover, but I can still see some silver coming through. The silver got onto the helmet lenses when I was painting it. Okay, that's good again. They're both wet. Let it dry. Let's do the second coat on this guy. Okay, flip it around, do this area here. I hope I don't mess up, but sometimes I do, and then I have to fix it. Okay, so it looks like this side is almost dry. Sometimes if you see a little pool drying, let it dry, because if you try to run your brush through the little paint that is still wet, it will remove it. So I'm just blowing blowing on it because it dries fast. But if you see that it's still wet, I will give it a minute or two, just so you don't damage your work. I've done it before, that's what I'm saying. Okay, this looks good. Here we go. Okay, let's switch it one more time. So there we go, both of them. So let's this one dry for a minute again. This one is still wet, so let's give it a minute. And while it dries, I'm just gonna look around. Ooh, look at this. So right here there's some red. I'm gonna have to clean this. Again, when that happens, it's very simple. Just grab your clean brush, dip it in clean water, not too heavy with water, just damped a little bit. And then what I do to clean that red here, I just go on top with the water, and then you just brush it real quick like this. And because it's and then you can kind of use your fingers, it's no big deal. And yeah, it's removing it crazy. So I'm gonna clean up the brush and then scrub it gently. Done. It took away the red that went over here, the silver. I will still give one more layer of silver and touch up, but maybe this wasn't totally necessary. But you know, good. All right. Feels like it cleaned. And then I'm gonna look around, see if I find anything else needs cleaning. Here's his boots. I don't know if you guys can see, but it got a little bit of red on the silver on the boots. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Get the brush wet and scrub it gently. This one is a little stubborn. Let me use my hands. Well, it doesn't look like this one will come off totally, which is okay, because you can use the paint to just touch it up and cover it. That's what I'll do later. I don't know if you guys can see on the camera, but there's a few red spots. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, and looks like our eyes here are dry, we'll do one more run, one more coat. Flip it upside down. All right. Let's do the other side. I think I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna try something different. It looks good. It's looking good, guys. All right, let it dry. And let's do this one too. I can still see some silver coming through the yellow. I don't know if you guys can see on the camera there. There's a little bit of silver on the edge that went over when I was painting the silver. But we'll see if we do like 2 more coats here, if we will blend it nicely. Try. good. Just have to be a little patient. And because we're not using the paint so thick, if we go outside the lines here, it's easy to clean and you know, fix it. It's easy to fix it if we mess up. Okay, I think this one is also good. Let it dry again, and let's do this guy. Okay, so now I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and darken a little bit because the red is too bright. And to do that, I'm gonna get my brown here, shake it. Let me put the brush there. Okay, so I'm gonna shake my brow here, my brown. I think there's a ball bearing inside. Maybe not, I don't know. That's okay. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll put a few drops in here. Not much, just a little bit. My palette, it's very thick. So now what I'm gonna try to do is mix a little bit of red, yellow, and brown. So I'm gonna get the brown here, and I'm just gonna place right here and try to see what happens here as I add yellow to it. There we go. That's kind of what I want. So maybe I need a little bit more of yellow, but it looks good. So I'm gonna put a little more yellow because I want to be gradual as we go darker. Yeah, that's good. That's good enough. Maybe I'll do a little hint of brown again. That's it. Okay. Oops. All right, so let's go ahead and it's more like a mustard color now, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and apply it. Yeah, that's what I wanted. See, it's not much darker. It's gonna start giving like some effect. See. Right now it's looking like dirty more than anything, but that's okay. Okay, let's let it dry, and let's do the same on the other side. So all I did was mix a little bit of brown into my yellow just to make it a little darker. It's more like a mustard kind of color now. And for the first run, that's perfect. Good. So let's let that dry. Don't know how well you can see on the screen there how it's coming along, but let's let it dry. Let's go do the same thing on this guy here. Okay. The idea is to go gradually darker. Okay. And then possibly get the effect that I'm looking for. We're going to use a little bit of white at the end as well. So we'll see how it turns out. Perfect. Sorry, my brush picked up something dirty. Okay. So now we're going to try to go a little bit darker. Again, not too crazy, but not a little darker than what we have now. I think I got here what I'm looking for. So I'm just mixing a little bit of brown here. Ew, too much, see? Got too dark quick. That's okay. Just have to pick up some more yellow. Good. All right, that's a little darker, I think, compared to the previous mix. And that's good. So let me let this one dry. Let's give it one more run. Ooh, much darker, see? Maybe too dark. Yep. This is too dark. I didn't want it this dark, but that's okay. So what I'll do, I'll just clean my brush on the paper towel here and just gently run around again, removing some of the excess. Okay, now I'm gonna do like circle motions like this, because when it dries, I want to leave that effect. So you don't want to leave like this, you know, like stray mark like that. That won't work. So come around and do like the shape of the eye with the brush, just to give an effect. So try it again. That's good. So that's good for now. Let's do the other side. Then again, it's very dark, so I'm just gonna dip a little bit. Yep, perfect. Okay. So all I want to do is like go around like on the shape of the eye to make it look that is just like some type of light effect. It's too much darker than the other side. Same thing, just wipe a little bit of the excess off your brush and run again in the same fashion. Oops. Perfect. Oh, this one is fighting me. Maybe I need another drip. Yep. Okay. All right, let's let this dry. Let's bring both so we can see the contrast. I don't know if you can see how different they are or through the lenses, but it's starting to look a little more like what I want. Okay, let's put this guy down and apply the darker on this guy too. So again, just grab a little bit. This is still wet and this one is dry, so I'm gonna start with this side this time. All I want to do is just like one thin layer, just to perfect. Okay. That's good. Same thing here. Yep. This is very close to what I'm looking for. Like, this superhero is an alien superhero. So, it is like, you know, alien. So let's make like an alien kind of eyes. This looks good. Just gonna add a little bit on the bottom here. Maybe brush off some of the stronger brush marks. Oops. Okay. Just let it dry for a little bit. Okay. So now I'm actually going to get a little more brown this time. Get a hint of yellow here. Like, again, it's another run of darker. I'm going to clean my brush as much as I can, and I'm going to go just lightly to see what it's looking like. Yep. Okay. This looks okay. Let's do the other side. Okay. I think that's okay now. I'll go ahead and just let it dry for a minute. Let's switch. Let's take a look at it. Like, side by side. See, it's not as bright anymore. Like, it's looking more, I don't know. We'll see. Try to give a few effects in the end here with some white. But I am almost at what I want. Okay. Okay. Oops. There's a little bit out here. I'm gonna have to touch it up later. Nothing too crazy, but it came outside the line a little bit. Okay. Now I got a little bit of the brown like straight off the bottle, the palette there. And a little bit got outside the line. Again, I'm just gonna come here and clean it with a clean brush like this. Done. Okay, let's let this dry. I know it looks dirty and all, but I'll try to make it look a little bit different. I've never done this, so I'm trying to make it look like a nice glaze, I guess. Let's see. That's good. Okay. Let's let it dry. Let it dry for now. And then I'm gonna try to go darker this time. Let's see what happens. It's mostly a test. Still mixing a little brown with my yellow here. I'm gonna remove some of the excess. And let's go. Let's see what happens. Okay. It's really nice. That looks really cool. I like it. All right. Great. Same thing here. Looks very nice. Okay, let it dry. Let's do the same on this guy. This one you can kind of tell the brush marks. So I'm gonna go ahead and be a little more generous on the, oops. Okay. There we go. Much darker now. Oops. Came outside the visor a little bit. Was able to just clean it with the finger. Okay. Okay. Starting to look a little different, so which is good. Let me try to have less paint on the brush, see what happens. Yep. Good. Now the brush is kind of removing some of the paint, which is okay. I'm trying to run the brush in a certain way, very lightly, to break off the brush marks. So it worked. See, this one looks less like brush marks than this one. So let's try to do the same on this side. Try to match it. Best way is in and out quick. The more you rub, the more you lose. It feels like. Okay. Alrighty. Let's compare the two. Yeah, it's okay. This one's a little lighter than this one, right? Which is fine. So what we can do too, like a very easy thing, is just come here and run with your finger real quick and remove some of the paint with your finger. Gently remove some paint using your finger or your glove. Okay, let's do the same one. I don't think it'll work on this one yet. Maybe, because this one is fully dry, so it won't work. But what we can do, I want to do another run like I did over there with a darker brown and yellow mixed together. So I'm gonna do a really fast run like this. Watch. You kind of cover the whole thing, but that's okay. Yeah, let it dry for a minute. We'll do it on the other side. I want to do it quickly so it doesn't dry too much. Good. Now just use your finger, make sure you just do it once, twice. There's probably a better way to do this, but you know, that's how I'm doing. Look how sad. I pushed too hard and it removed the paint. I'll have to fix that in a minute. But look, it's not bad, right? Come here with your finger, polish a little bit. It's beginning to look like what I want to look like. And where I got some paint on his helmet, I'm gonna get a clean brush again, a little bit of water, and I'm just gonna brush like right there. Up, look, done. Later I'll run with my silver one more time. Okay, so yeah, other than that mistake there, I like it. I think it's starting to look like what I want. I don't know if you can see there. It's not done yet. Let's try to fix this. See if we can fix it real quick. Don't know if I'll be able to, but we'll try. Yeah, it'll be fine. Oops. Okay, that's good. Gonna have to let it dry for a little bit. think I rubbed too hard when I was running my finger. That's okay. I'm gonna rebuild. Do the yellow. Just gonna do a quick yellow wash around it. I gotta put some pigment right there. Let it dry on, because it created like a little hole, because it actually peeled the paint. There you go. I'm gonna let it dry. Come back to it in a minute. You know, these things happen, right? You're doing your paint work and then boom, something weird happens and then it's hard to fix. Yeah, I'm not sure. I may have to do this one all over again later. I don't know. I'm gonna put down some paint right there where it chipped and then see what happens. Yeah, I'll let that dry. Let's go back to the other one while we wait for this one to dry. Okay. Well, apparently same thing happened on this guy right here. Let's put some white, some yellow back down. That's good. All right. So now I'm gonna do a little wash, yellow wash, I guess. Again with the light yellow. Very, very thin, just a little glaze. And I'm just brushing to see what happens, honestly. Which is okay. Okay. I think this looks good. Just have to remove a little bit here. It's too much over there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run my finger over it gently. Yeah, this time worked better. It didn't rip. It didn't peel the paint. Good. Okay. Do the same wash on the other side. I'm just scrubbing, trying to remove some paint here, right in the, yeah, right here. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing, run the finger a little bit. Okay. I don't know if this is how you do this technique, but we'll see what happens. Just coming back with the yellow very thin. Yep. Okay, I kind of like it. Kind of looks cool. Okay, let's go back to the other one. Let that one dry. Put a little bit of paint here. Fix that mistake. Good. All right, now I'm going to clean my brush and do the bright yellow wash. Okay guys, I'm back. So you saw me applying the paint. I think it's too thick around the corners, which is fine, because I think what I'll do to make it lighter is kind of do like keep brushing or scrubbing the way I was scrubbing with the brush. So I'm just gonna have the brush with a little bit of water in it, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep brushing the eye here, trying to remove some of the paint from around the corners because it was just too much. I was double checking it and it felt like a little too dark for what I'm shooting for. So I'm gonna go ahead and gently remove some of the brown around the edges. I've also noticed that I've been like kind of like here in the camera. I'm sorry, I couldn't see what I was doing. I just looked at the video again and I noticed that I was a little bit out the center of the camera, so I apologize for that. Oops, too much water. I'm gonna go ahead and remove some of the water. My idea is to make it look like there's light coming through the lenses, so we'll see if we can do that effect by doing what I'm doing. It's definitely removing some of the paint, which is what I want right now. It's just too thick. And there's nothing wrong to start over. If it goes wrong, if it goes too south, remove all the paint, paint again, and then start over on the head. You know, there's nothing wrong, nothing right. It's all like you know, try and error, I guess. So that's what I am doing right now. I'm gonna have to remove some of the top here because it's too much on the top here. I want it to look like there's some light effect coming through the lenses, but at the same time, more like if you look close, you can tell that it's a painted, that is like an artistic paint work. No, you know, I'm not trying to fool anyone, of course. Okay, now I'm gonna do something different. Let me see here what I'll do. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of a I'm gonna get a fine brush here. I'm gonna get a it's not fine, but it has like a thin tip to it. And I'm gonna use my brown again. And this time around, I'm gonna try to use the brown straight out of the bottle, so I don't need much at all. It will be like 1 or 2 dots here. 1 dot be enough. Gotta be careful with the darker color not to transfer from my gloves to this sculpture. So here's what I'm gonna do. My brush is dry. I don't have my brush wet or anything. Dry brush. I'm gonna try to do a little more of the effect. So let's see if I can pull it off. So basically, I'm gonna go like around the eye and do a little area here and there. Put a little thick layer of the brown. That's good. I'll let that dry for a minute. And we'll do the same thing here. At this point, I'm not trying anything specific. Again, it's just trying and seeing how it looks. That's good. Okay. Let's let it dry for a minute. I'll let it dry for a little bit, because I will come back there with a wet brush again and then tone it down. It was just to give some more. Right now it looks like he's got a black eye, which is not what we're looking for, but we'll fix. Let it dry. It's drying. I'm gonna get some water here on my brush. I'm gonna remove the excess water, and I'm gonna come back here and yep, that's exactly what I wanted, to remove some of the paint again. Just go back gently and remove some of the paint. Okay, that's good. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just remove a little bit, scrub a little, remove it. He's gonna look mean, guys, so it's gonna be cool. Okay, run your finger over it. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So now I'm gonna do the same thing with the yellow. Get a little bit of the yellow again. I have some yellow there, but it's too washed, so I just want to use straight yellow, and I'm going to do it right here, like 1 drop. again. Actually, I can use the paint from the bottle itself. So I'm gonna grab a little bit here. Just clean up the brush a bit. And now I'm gonna go very gently in the little corners here where it's too dark. Very gently, randomly run my brush with a little bit of stray paint. Okay, very gentle, nothing too crazy. It's to tone down a little bit of the brown, see? But don't panic. Go on the edge gently and leave a little bit of paint there. Straight paint this time. Not a glaze, it just goes straight out of the bottle. Just like that. That's good. Let me do a little bit more here. It's a little messy around the eyes, but that's okay. Because, again, we're going to go back and do some more work. Okay, now get up. Oop, I dropped my brush. Give me a second to pick it up off the floor. Oops. Come on. Keeps going away from me. Oh boy. Got it. Sorry. Dropped my brush on the floor. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get the brush, clean brush, remove the water just a little bit damp, and I'll do the same thing again. Just going to brush it around it. This yellow that I just applied. Don't go too crazy, but we also want to remove a little bit of it. Okay. It's a little messy around the mask, the helmet, but this will all be fixed. Okay. Now we're going to go to the other side right away and do the same thing. Get a little bit of the yellow washed off. Yay. Okay, get your finger again, run through it, and that's good. Okay. All right. So now let's do, this time will be a very, very, very washed brown. Again, not brown again, but very thin with some yellows, kind of like a swirl. Try to show you guys. Now use the paper towel this time to just get some of the excess off. Okay. Okay. And with this brush right here, I'm going to try to draw a very thin line under his eyes. Let's try to do that. The light's not helping me much here. Let me see if I can reposition the light. There you go. That's better. Okay, and we got some paint here. I'll try to do the same thing on this side. Just a very thin line of a darker brown on the bottom. That's it. And then on the top, we're gonna try to light things up by applying some yellow. And I'll show you what I mean by that. We're gonna go ahead and apply the yellow just on the top here, very gently. Just a little bit, okay? And just on the top. Okay. We're gonna let that dry. And I'll do the same thing on this side. Apply just a little bit on the top, like I just did, just like so. Okay, good. Okay. Now what I want to do is do a very, let me try. Let's try this real quick. Let me put them down, and I need black, and I'll show you guys what I mean. Yep, I'm gonna use black. So I'm gonna go ahead and use black to, just a moment. I'm gonna use a black. Oh boy. Okay. And you see what I'll do with the black. Same thing, I just need it straight out of the bottle. Put a little dot right here. Ooh. It's dry on the tip. Shoot. See if I can get a little dot out of it. Or I can actually just open the bottle real quick. But for that, I need a very fine brush. I'll get the finest brush I have. One of the finest. This one is very fine, but I think I have one that is even smaller. So there's two here that are very fine. This one right here. This one is very small. Try to show you guys. So it's very fine, and I'm gonna use it to do this job that I'm trying to do here. I want to do a very thin. I'm gonna try to use the paint right out of the bottle. I'm not gonna mix or anything. So this will be very delicate, so I'll try to do it in camera, but I have to be very careful because black will mess things up pretty good. So let me try to rest my arm so I have something to grab to. Okay, right here. I'm not even breathing. Okay. I think I got this. Got a little bit more of the black here. Okay, got a little bit more of black, and I'll be very gentle. I don't want to go all the way around. I just want to go from here and down. And then I'm going to do this. Look, I'm going to try to give it like a little whip. Yeah. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to Try to give it a little whip. That's good. All right. So now let's apply the black on the other eye as well. Okay. I'll try to do the same way. Oops, there's kind of like too much, I guess. Okay. Maybe too much still. Don't have just a little bit of paint on your brush. Let me stop breathing again, or I'm gonna mess this up. Awesome. Just try not to mess it up. That's all I'm trying to do. Okay. Awesome. So now we gave it a little bit of shade for under his eyes. And this is tricky, but I'm gonna rinse my brush real quick. Yep. I'll try to clean up right here real quick, just a bit. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Brush almost dry, very minimum water, just to, you know, kind of play with this black a little bit down here, just so it doesn't look it was applied with a brush. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing on top of his eyes with white. We're going to try to give the illusion of light. See how it works. See if it works. Again, guys, I'm just trying. I'm not sure if it'll work, but we'll give it a shot. Let me close my black here. Black, so black, it's crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and do the same thing, this time with the white. And we'll see how this is gonna turn out. Whew. I'm gonna do one. Oops, again. It's all dry on the tip. Ah, crap. Sorry. Yeah, I'll do the same thing. I'm just gonna open the bottle and feed it through here. Some of this. Oops. Okay, got the white on the brush. I'm gonna just clean the body of the brush because I don't want the brush to touch anything with white paint and then damage the work. Okay, I got white paint on the tip of the brush. Now we'll do the opposite. Instead of on the bottom, we'll do on the top. Now do the same thing again. Try to not breathe too much here so I don't damage, so I don't mess it up. Kind of hold my breath. Okay. I think it was too thick. Since it was too thick, easy to fix, right? Remember? Clean your brush real quick. Clean it up. And just run the brush real quick. Okay. That's good. Now I'm going to do it again. Try to get the white here, the paint. I'm going to try to do a little line. I don't want anything too thick. It was too thick, maybe because I have too much paint on the brush. Remove a little bit of the paint on a brush And let's try again. And that is more like it. Not perfect, but not bad. So let's do the other side. Awesome. Less paint on the brush is working better. Perfect. This was very minimum, but I like it. I'm gonna do a little wash real quick here because my white was too thick on the first run. So I'm just gonna do a little wash on top of the white, very minimum. Okay. All right, guys. So now we're gonna apply white on top of it and see what it looks like. Now I'm gonna blow it up a little bit more and let's see what happens. Yeah, it needs to be thicker. Yeah, okay. All right, let's try again. Not sure, but not bad. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little brown here, and it will give the idea that I want. Let's try. Yeah, a little bit. Not exactly, but I know what to do. I'm gonna run a thin line right here with the yellow. Watch. Nice. Okay. Let me do a little bit more white here. Oops. That didn't work. Because I dipped my brush on the yellow. It came yellow. But now I'm gonna get white here. Watch. And I'm gonna do like a little gonna do a little corner here, guys. Try to do the same thing here to make it look like the light is hitting it in a certain angle. Okay. Let's try and do the same thing on this side. Oops. Need more white than that. I gotta move the bottle because I'm not getting a lot of paint. Maybe right here I'm getting more. Yeah, I got more paint right here. Let me try this again. Now we're talking. We get some white again. I'm gonna try to do the same effect on this side here that I did on the other side. Oops. Something to make it look like it's shining. Okay. I think I like it. I'm not sure. Let me do this. I better get some browns in there. Yeah. Oops. Okay. I think I like it. Let me get some yellow here. Yep. I'll do a little more white on the other side and we're good. Oh boy. Plenty of white here now. Leaked all over the place. Make sure I dry my glove before I keep touching the sculpture. I'm gonna have to do tons of touch up. Yeah, there was too much. Let's try to remove a little bit using the brush. Okay. I'm gonna use a, what do we call? Not a glaze. I'll show you guys. Let me think. I think I'm happy with it. I'm not sure. I guess I can always come back, you know. You can always come back and do more if you want. I want to put a little brown down here because it feels like it's needing some brown down here. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to wipe it with my hands. creepy. I'm gonna use my finger here. Yeah, it feels to me like the right side looks better than the left, but we'll see. I'll give you one more shot here of white. We'll see if I can do that effect right here. Sort of. Okay. Let's fix this real quick here. Okay. Okay. I think it worked, guys. Let's do some over here real quick. Okay. Now I need to do like a little glaze with this dirty water. Do the same thing on this side. Gently. Just trying to bring everything kind of together. I need to just draw a very thin line up here. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Let me do a little thin line here too. Right there, perfect. Okay. All right. I think this could be a wrap. We'll see. Okay. Okay. Got to put a little bit of the yellow back down here. And maybe some straight yellow in the middle to brighten up. A little more brown on the top. Okay. I think that's good enough. Yeah. Looks like this is good enough for now. We'll see. If this is not really what if I don't end up not liking it, all I have to do is basically prime it real quick, just the eyes, and then paint it again. But I like it so far. And we're gonna add this now. Let me get it right here. We're gonna use a little varnish to make it shiny and see what it looks like. It will look like more wet and shiny. So let's see how that goes. Let me put the lid here real quick. There you go. Put a little bit here. Should be more than enough. And we get a brush. Again, any brush will do. I'm gonna try this one. I'll put the paint here. Try to clean this brush a little bit at least before I go dipping on the varnish. Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the varnish real quick. Make it look wet. Or more like glass, shiny glass. That's what I'm shooting for. Okay. Let's do this side real quick. Okay. Now let's let the varnish dry. It dries clear, so we'll see what it looks like after it dries. And while it dries, we're gonna take advantage of it and do a little touch up on our on the silver. I just have to find it. Give me a second. And we're gonna do the oops. What did I put in? Oh, right here. Find it. Oops, not this box. Trying to find the paint, guys. I think it's right here. Yep. Just like that. Okay. Find the first silver and yeah, these two. So as far as the light here, the alert light, I think I'm going to actually use a different, like silver, like it's a natural steel, and then the light would be blue for the light of alert light, whatever we call it, I forgot. Let me do one more run of the varnish real quick. We'll do one more coat and then we should be okay. It's almost time for me to change my gloves, but it'll be okay. I'm going to do one more of the varnish and then we'll do some silver touch up around the ice. Okay. Just gonna do it real quick. There you go. Perfect. Okay. While this is drying, I'm going to do some touch-up. Let me just clean my brush real quick. Yeah, I'm going to clean this mess here real quick too. Oh boy. It's going to put a little bit of water. You know, it's just acrylic paint. Put a little water down. We'll clean my desk. I hope. Oh yeah. Right away. Perfect. All right. I don't want to let it dry for too much longer because I don't want to be cleaning. I don't want it to be so hard that it's so hard to clean. Okay. So the varnish is drying. Let's go ahead and touch up the silver around the ice. And for that, I'm going to do straight paint again. Maybe. Let's see. Just shake it a little bit. Okay. Put one drop. Ooh, that was too much. That's okay. Didn't need that much. Again, I'm using Vallejo silver. Okay, guys. Here we go. Let's do some touch up. I can tell it's going to need a few coats. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry and then I'll come back. It got really messy. Oh boy. Unfortunately, it got in the eye where I didn't want it to go, but let me try and wipe it. Okay, that worked. Now I gotta let it dry and then do it again because it didn't cover yet, but it will. And while this first coat dries, I want to do a little detail on the mouth. See if I can pull it off. I'm gonna need the black again and my little fine brush. Okay. I'm gonna get my little brush again, the very fine one. And oops. Okay. I'm gonna try to do this little detail on the mouth just to pop a little bit more. Nothing too difficult to do. It's just to give again the illusion of shadow, and I don't want my brush to be dropping too much paint. That's it. So let's give it a shot. It's gonna be hard to do, but I'll try. Okay, right here. I did a little darker than I wanted, but that's okay. It was kind of on purpose, because now I'm gonna clean it, wipe it off a little. At least try. Yay! Okay, so that didn't work too well, but that's okay. the paint didn't stay. So I'm going to try again with a much thinner line. And I'll try not to shake my hands. We'll try. I just want some separation, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off because it's such a small area. Maybe now I'll be able to, we'll see. Yeah, it didn't really work. Maybe I don't know how to do it. Yeah, maybe it worked better now that I have some water added. Let's see. I'm gonna clean up here on the side of his mouth real quick. There we go. Do a quick run. Oops. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so let me go ahead and put away the black real quick. That didn't work as well as I thought. I probably need a dark wash on it later. We'll see. I'll try to do this effect on the mouth later. I just wanted the mouth to pop a little bit more. Let's continue with the touch up. Probably dried already on this side. Yep, better. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm not sure I love it, but I don't dislike it, so I guess that's something, right? That should count for something. Okay, I'll come back here later because it needs to dry so I can fully cover the, what do we call? The touch up here needs to dry so I can keep going over. That's good for now. I'll put a little bit more here on the side. Right there. Perfect. Beautiful. Let it dry, then I'll come back. Now as far as the mouth, we'll see what I do later. Maybe I'll do a wash all around the figure. And I think the eyes need a little bit more white. Let me try to put a little bit more white down. Let's see if it works. Okay. Ah, rookie mistake. Okay. I'm gonna try and touch up the other side as well. Oops, too much. Okay. All right. I think it looks a little bit better with more white in it. Okay. Okay. Let's do one more run on the face with silver. One drop. That's enough. Get my pretty brush here. Here we go again. Oh boy. Got it. So annoying. Sometimes you go out of the line and he messes everything up. Try to be more careful this time around. Good. Now it looks like it's covering all that mess that was coming through his helmet. Oh yeah. Perfect. Good. Let's do this side. And then we're gonna let it dry. And I think I'll come back with you guys on the next video, guys. Okay.